Hello, this is Sky. I want to give a little bit of an update at first concerning the situation right now because things are getting crazier and crazier, and the headlines are just coming one after the other. So, what my star people told me today was that the realities are now starting to separate, and that means that in the shift that we're going through right now, everybody chooses they um, where they go, where they stand, or how the shift is unfolding for them, because we have the free will to decide. And that means that where we focus is where we go, where we are headed, at least temporarily, as this is all unfolding. And there are a lot of people who are going along with this dystopian development that the world is taking, and they have the freedom to do that. So this is the reality that they build by focusing on it. However, those who are focusing on a beautiful outcome, they are creating it by focusing on it. This goes hand in hand because we are creators of the worlds around us. And right now, in this intense process of transformation, reality becomes so flexible that it's like clay. We can form it with every feeling and thought that we have, more so than before, because everything is kind of very very much in turmoil, very much in this transformation process. So, in this way, we have a responsibility for the thoughts and the feelings that we have, because with the thoughts and feelings that we have, we contribute to the outcome for us and for everybody else around us, because what we create also affects people around us. So, what they told me today was that the realities are a little bit becoming like, the oil and water process, where there's two layers of liquid that do not mix, and they exist parallel. So, like oil lies on top of water, our reality that we create by focusing on a beautiful world is creating a separate layer of reality. And those that are focusing on the dystopia are creating a reality that is lower vibrational. So it is kind of becoming separate at this stage. Which means that when we focus on the world that we want to see, the beautiful world that we would like to live in, we are in like a different reality, really, a different layer of reality, where what is happening around us on the global scale does not affect us in the same way. And we still see what is happening, but in every situation, wherever we find ourselves, if we are connected to the energy of life, we have the protection and things are unfolding to our best. So I'm giving you an example for that, so it becomes a little bit clearer. In the middle of the measures that I did not want to participate in, I had a trip scheduled to Italy, which at the time was extremely strict in all the measures. It was for work, and I actually asked, is it good for me to go? And I received the answer, yes, go. So I'm saying that because I just want to have a side note that I made sure that I was in alignment with this power of life, right? So I said, okay, I will go, but I need protection. And even though the measures were extremely strict during that time, and especially in that country, this entire trip, I was not in any kind of difficulty because of it. I had so much protection that got um, I got away, you know, in the most incredible ways that I couldn't have even imagined. And I was in this reality where this was a fact, and still my reality was a different one. So in any situation that we find ourselves in, things can happen that we really do not expect, that bring us to an outcome that is different than what the reality around us suggests. And we have the protection in any kind of scenario. So this is kind of the, let's say, parallel reality that we are in when we focus on this beautiful world, and we are at the same time creating it, because the more that we are, the more who are focusing on that kind of reality, the more solid it becomes, or the more real it becomes, the more energetically charged it becomes. So yeah, they told me don't engage very much by looking at all the news and getting all upset and, oh my God, what is this and what's happening, and are we going to go to war, and I don't know. Don't focus on that too much by getting emotionally involved, because what brings our realities about is our thoughts and our emotions. So once we are emotionally involved, meaning that, oh my God, we are afraid, or it gets us down, or we get desperate or depressed, that means that we are emotionally involved and we contribute to the reality that we do not want to see by those feelings. And that means that we can watch what's going on as an observer if we are able to not get emotionally involved and have these feelings, because that is when we bring about what we don't want to bring about. So as I have said before, what is unfolding right now is something that we have a direct hand in. So everybody contributes to the outcome and is changing or modifying it by the emotions and the thoughts that we have. And in this, it's important to realize that we have this incredible creative force where what we imagine actually becomes reality. And it's been like this all along, but the problem is, how much can we keep our focus? Because if we imagine something, then if in the next thought we think, oh, but yeah, maybe it's not happening, or it's all my fantasy or whatever, then we do not keep the focus, which means that the reality is disrupted, let's say, in the creation process. So it's important to realize how much power we have with the force of our imagination. And that if we imagine a beautiful world, that means that we are already in the process of building it. As crazy as that sounds, but we build worlds with our imagination. So our fantasy is a very important element in the creative process, which is much underestimated because we think fantasy is just our thoughts or our dreams or whatever, but our fantasies are actually a tool to create. So, of course, not all our fantasies become true, and that is also because we are a part of this divine life force that expresses itself through us. And if we are truly in alignment with this life force, that's when we have the greatest, well, I don't want to say we have the greatest power, because it's not us that have the power, but it's the access that we have to that power that is working through us. So that is when it's the most potent, when we are in alignment with that force. And we do, at this stage, not always know what is being created, because we do not oversee the whole at this stage. And the more we surrender ourselves to that divine power, this divine life force, the more we have access to an insight that goes much beyond what we see right now. And the more insight that we have, the more we can say what is about to happen. Because we are part of creating it. And that means that we are acting as an agent to this divine life force. Yeah, and that's what's happening right now. We are all agents in this process. And our fantasies are creating worlds. Our imagination creates worlds. And the more conscious we are that we are doing this, the more we know, the more immediate that becomes. And if we go into the fabric of reality and we change or we modify things, that needs us to be absolutely confident that what we do with our minds or with our creative force is actually creating. And what my star people explain to me is that everything around me is me. So I am, if we truly understand what we are, that means that we truly understand that we are everything around us. And if we truly understand that, then we can go into every element of our environment and change it, or modify it. Now again, when we do this, it's very important to be in alignment with this higher life force and have that force act through us. Because if we act out of our very limited understanding of reality and of self, then we are affecting outcomes that are not beneficial to the whole or to us, because the whole is us and we are the whole. So that understanding is extremely important in this whole process. But if we understand that, then we also understand why we create a different reality when we focus on a beautiful world that we are creating. Which doesn't mean that the other world doesn't exist and that we cannot see it. But it is, it's what we create is part of us. And that's why also everyone is so important in this. So I also want to explain this with an example that I think I mentioned before in another video. Because what is happening right now and what has been happening over millennia is that our creative power was used to create the world that we live in right now, which is in many ways not so nice. And it's happening through our emotions, and right now we're getting the chance to liberate ourselves from that. So a while ago I had problems with the phone company. Actually, I always have problems with the phone company, but anyway. So I topped up my account, and I know that there's a couple of tricks built in this program that very easily manage to take money out of the account on some weird explanations. And then they say, I don't know, we need to give you this much amount of gigabyte or whatever until tomorrow, because otherwise the internet will drain all your account because you haven't chosen a package. Anyway, so it's a little bit complicated, but let me just say this. There are some tricks that take the money out of your top up, so that you do not have enough money to choose the package that you want, so you have to top it up again, and because the remaining money is not enough to buy any package at all, it's kind of going unused. So anyway, I had this happen before many times, and I had a lot of problems, and I changed companies and this and that. Anyway, so it happened again with the company that I already changed to. And I was super upset because I know this whole thing, I know how it works, I know the tricks, and I was super upset. And then I said, okay, wait a minute. Now, what I am doing right now, I am having all this feelings of anger and rage, and that is not beneficial to what I am creating for me or anybody else. So let's go about this in a different way. So I said, okay, I'm going to try and solve that problem and be calm and friendly all alone, even though I know that, the employees, they always pretend like the customer doesn't understand, and they have explained it a million times, and it's like that and cannot be changed, and all this kind of thing. I've gone through this many times, and okay, I said, okay, I am going to stay in a good mood and friendly the entire time, and no matter what happens. So I did, and before I knew it, they returned my money. They said, oh, we're sorry, we're gonna reverse that. So my money was returned, I was happy, and I was completely calm the entire time. The second time, or another time that happened, I got really angry again. And I was thinking, oh my God, not again. It's impossible. And then I didn't think of it the way I had before. And what happened? I lost my money. And next time it happened, it happens regularly. Um, I remembered the way it should be done because I had the two examples of the different options in my memory. So again, I was completely calm. I refrained from being angry or enraged, and I truly understood that it is not about me getting the money back or no. It is about me being in anger and in rage and in a bad state, which eventually leads to an outcome that matches this state. So again, I was super calm, and I got my money back again. Yeah, so that's when I really understood it. And then, of course, it happened another time because it happens all the time, as I said. And, I just couldn't be bothered, and I thought, okay, well, then it's gone, the money is gone. And I wasn't worried. And that can also happen. And I think I tried and I didn't succeed, but I wasn't I wasn't worried. I wasn't upset or anything. I was just like, yeah, because my life force does not come from their telephone programs. It doesn't come from their money. It doesn't come from anything that I find in the circumstances created around me, because my well-being is something that is directly connected to this life force. And when I am in alignment with it, then nothing is stronger than that. So if I am in feelings of peace and calmness and happiness, or yeah, just you know um, just being fine, then this is the circumstances that I create around me. And even if the circumstances are different, and I do not let myself be dragged out of these feelings, then I am the master. And this is what we're being tried to do right now, because we are masters in the essence of our souls. We are creators. But when we let ourselves be upset and enraged and sad and depressed by things that are happening around us, then we have been caught in the trap that is meant for us. Because these situations are created so that we fall into them. And there's so much fear being produced all the time in the mainstream media, you know, all these horrible scenarios and um, yeah, war and death and all these horrible things, and it's being produced, it's being instigated, and the more people fall for it, the bigger it becomes. And this is the whole plan behind it. This is how it's being created. And when you are in fear, you become vulnerable. When you're in fear, it's like your aura gets holes. So that is the worst thing. And it's all up to us. This is what we need to understand, that we are creating this whole thing. It's a little bit complicated to explain, but while this whole transformation is happening, whether we want it or not, which of course we want, I mean, you know, the beautiful world, because it's this cycle of the life force, we are also part of this life force, and we have a free will to align ourselves or not. Yeah, I hope that was clear. It's a little bit difficult to explain. Yeah. And maybe one last thing. They also told me about the force of our imagination. We have been accustomed to live in this material world, while the higher vibrational world, or the higher realms, let's say, the astral world, is not so tangible, because we haven't been used to moving in it, let's say. And what they told me was that really, when we imagine that we are somewhere, that means we go there. So it's not just in our minds, but this has to do with the many different layers of reality, and it goes into multidimensionality. And that is a very big topic. I just wanted to remark this by the side. So I'm saying that for us to realize how big the power is that we have through our imagination. It's not just, you know, crazy dreams. It is a creative tool. Yeah, so that's it for today. Have a beautiful day, and hopefully see you soon. Bye.